recognize him. From Brotherhood, the mayor, Al Sapienza, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure,
In
Kate.
studio today. Very unique perspective on something that has been in the news here in Rhode Island. This pertains to Jason Fane. Now, this is the proposal for the 46-story tower on the 195 land that's been under consideration. Al, you've lived in Toronto in a Fane tower.
Yes, I did. I had the honor to live here for 4 years when I played your mayor on Brotherhood, and I also live in one of Jason Fane's buildings in Toronto. It's called the Chaz, and I know him very well, and I know Gad also, one of his partners. And I know this may sound corny, but I want to start this by saying that their passion, and this, I know it sounds corny, but this really means something. His passion isn't money. His passion is making incredible buildings and enhancing communities, and he does. They're successful. It was the same situation, and believe me, I get it, and I understand. I mean, you know, change is hard, and people love the way things are, and they love the feel of a community, but the future has to come. And for the first time in the history of America, more people are living downtown in cities than in suburbs and rural areas ever. So they build communities. And I live in his building. And did you want to ask me questions, or should I just keep going?
What lured you to his building in Toronto?
Gad, one of the partners, said to me, I want you to see this building. And it was the same thing. They had the same thing. They didn't want them to build it. They didn't want to change the street. They didn't want to change the neighborhood. They built this building. I don't know how many stories. I lived there. I don't remember. It's like 50. I can't remember. But this building is gorgeous. And it transformed this neighborhood. You build these buildings, you get more businesses, more street fare. They built a Whole Foods. And they dedicated 2 complete floors of this building in Toronto that they could have, used and sold. 2 complete floors are a sky lounge. And you could see all the way to Buffalo across Lake Ontario, and I'm not exaggerating. And again, I'm telling the truth. If I didn't do this, I wouldn't be here. It's not because I like them. You go there any time of day. People are in that lounge reading and studying. You go there 3 o'clock in the morning. It's gorgeous. And and then upstairs you can have private events for your family and parties. And it's just this panoramic view. You can see all the way to Buffalo across Lake Ontario. They're downstairs. Their gym is incredible. They have a game room with actual consoles where you're in a cockpit of a plane or a racing car. No, this place it's one of the most beautiful condominiums I've ever seen in my life. And instantly, it created a community in that building. And then enhanced the community around it. And as far as efficiency, these buildings are better for the environment. You know, per person, you're using less energy. The heat rises, it stays in the building. I'm all for these things. And I went through this already in West Hollywood. In the 80s, I sat on the council with a friend. It was the same thing. They didn't want to put up the new buildings. But this will be a landmark, and it's going to help this city. It's going to bring people here. It's going to increase foot traffic. And I honestly, again, I respect your opinion, and I understand. But our older generation, we're all going to die out, and they're going to build these buildings anyway. So you might as well do it now and benefit by it. But anyway.
Are you just encouraging people to have an open mind with this project?
Yeah, it's yes. And another thing also. Again, I went through this in West Hollywood. We went through it in Toronto. You can't stop the future. You could only ensure that the people who are molding the future are like these guys, that they're building ecologically responsibly. They're building a great project. They're building something that will enhance the community that's there and bring commerce, plus the tax base. You're going to get $70 million. I mean, the future, it's hard. Change is hard, but I believe it's just my opinion. I'm just trying to help. I live in one of their buildings, and it's called, oh, and one other thing, Toronto's a big city. I don't have to say I live at 45 East Charles Street. When I say the Chaz, everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's a gorgeous building. And believe me, everyone knows. I'm telling the truth. I really am being totally sincere.
We talked about it in the green room before you came on. I mean, you live 3 separate places. Is Toronto tops? Is that your fave?
I have to be honest with you, and as an American, I shouldn't say this. Toronto, it's a different society. people are, listen, I was born and raised in America. I love it. I'm a New Yorker. I have a home in New York. I'm an actor. I have a home in LA and a home in Toronto. Canadians are nicer. They're more about the group. They're not like, Americans lately, me, 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 me. I love Canada. I love the Torontonians. And again, and very importantly, these guys that are building this, to them, it's about the passion of building a great building. It is, and their buildings, look at the buildings they built. They're standout buildings.
Well, speaking of Toronto, we did talk with Air Canada. They were in just the other week. They're going to be direct flights from TF Green straight to Toronto. How are the folks in Toronto doing now after what we saw this week there?
It's just, this stuff is ridiculous. They're okay, and it's funny. As big of a city it is, it's a small town.
Yeah.
And I did a play up there for a year and a half at the Royal Alexandra Theater, and I called everybody, and these things, it breaks my heart. I love this country. It just breaks my heart that it's come to this, that people do these crazy things and hurt. If you're gonna hurt somebody, hurt the guilty people. Don't hurt innocent people on the street. It's just, it's absurd. It's really crazy.
As you've let us know, Toronto is it is home to you, and you've really identified it as home base. But you're all over the place. I mean, folks watching right now, again, know you as the mayor, know you from The Sopranos, know you from House of Cards, but you've got a project going on right now in New Orleans. Tell us what's next for Al.
Yeah, I gotta, for an actor, the key thing is to keep working. You just gotta keep creative. You gotta, hey, look, if you don't work as an actor, you're not making any money, too. I wouldn't be able to live in the Chaz. Right now I have two things. I'm making a movie with the fabulous, fantastic Tom Hardy. Also, Matt Dillon's in it, Kyle MacLachlan, Kathy Narducci. She played Charmaine Bucco in The Sopranos. And it's called Fonzo. And it's about the last 3 years of the life of Al Capone. Tom Hardy plays Fonzo. I play his older brother, Ralphie. It's very factual. Catherine from The Sopranos plays his sister, Rosie. And it'll probably be out in about 9 months. It's called Fonzo. And then I'm also on a TV show that I shoot in Montreal. It's called Jack Ryan. It's on Amazon. And they just announced they were getting picked up for a second season. It hasn't even aired yet. So that's very exciting. That's with John Krasinski and Timothy Hutton. There's some good actors in there. And oh my God, I can't remember. But anyway.
No worries. Won't put you on the spot, but I appreciate your coming in to give your unique perspective. Having been the mayor here, having known Providence, but also...
I love Providence. I really do. I loved it here.
Well, thanks for coming back and, again, giving us your perspective on Jason Fane's building up in Toronto as we continue to report on the story here in Providence.
Keep an open mind and embrace the future.
Al Sapienza, I appreciate you taking the time to come in. I'll let you go around the corner.
Did I make any sense?
Perfect sense.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our next guest here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center.
Thank you again, Kate.
Thank you. Okay, let's go around the corner.